You know I'm right. The podcast that uncovers the origin stories of some of the biggest names in media, entertainment, sports, entrepreneurship, Jets cheerleading, and so much more. Nick Durst here, along with Joe Calabrese and Joe. We're very excited about our guest today. I don't know if this is like her second time on the podcast or her first time. A lot to be interpreted. The first time we interviewed her was with our Amazing Race Watch Party special in person at Barry Park. Go check that out on our YouTube now if you haven't seen it. But let everybody know who we have with us as our special guest today.
Well, usually you mention reality TV. So I think for everybody watching at home, the reality TV is where you have watched our guest previously. She was a Jets cheerleader. I like that. We don't like the Jets, but we like the
You
Jets
love the Jets,
cheerleaders.
Joe.
I
Come
like
on.
the Piker.
I'm
Uh,
kind of like a fossil because there's no more Jets cheerleaders anymore.
I know,
They
I
Wow.
cut the
know.
program.
Budget cuts.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's terrible. But we'll get to talk about that. We'll talk about her appearances on reality TV, kind of growing up very close to where we were, working around this area, in the New York, New Jersey area. But we welcome to the show Natalie Negrotti. Natalie, thanks for doing this. The original plan was to have your sister on. So if your
Yeah.
sister does make an appearance, for everybody who's listening and watching, they're not too surprised. But we have you for now, which is exceptional. Nats, how are you? And welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, my sister's on Hawaii time, and I'm so proud of her because she just started a marketing company. So she has been working multiple jobs, starting her new business. I'm hoping she can hop on because it's or it might be like 7:30 in the morning
Yep.
right now over there. And I know she was working late with her marketing job last night. So if she can't make it, it's okay. I'm really proud of her. But thanks for having me. Me and my sister just competed on the Amazing Race, and I met you guys in person. What was it, like a few weeks ago? So that
End of
was really
October,
nice.
yeah. So
Yeah.
obviously you got a lot going on with social media, Amazon and everything, and you're always traveling. So I'm curious, what's the first app you check on your phone every day?
I'm like I'm not a boomer actually, but I act like a boomer. Not Facebook, but Instagram. I do love TikTok. But I need to get more. I need to like switch my mentality to be like TikTok first, Instagram secondary. But I'm a millennial girl.
Yeah. We're Instagram over TikTok as well, but
Yeah.
we'll see what happens with TikTok. Now, you mentioned this on Amazing Race, but
hmm
I wanted you to expand on this. Why do people think that you and your sister are dating?
Oh my gosh, this has always been an issue because we hold hands. We have like a very twin dynamic because we're raised so close. So, we hold hands, and in our family, it's called like cariñitos. We're very, in our culture, the Venezuelan culture, we're raised by our Venezuelan mom. We are a very affectionate culture. So, my sister is a lot more masculine than I am. I'm very feminine, even though right now I got so late. I got back so late from Nashville from a 4-day work trip, so I'm so exhausted. So I'm like, I can't even do my makeup. Like, I'm just trying to get through my emails. This is like my fifth. I had 5 Zoom calls today. I'm
Hmm.
so tired. Um, but we're so opposite. My sister's tall. I'm 4'11". She was born with blonde hair and hazel green eyes. I got the Venezuelan side, the brown and brown. So, people like when they see us together, they think we're dating because we're like so close. We'll hold hands, we'll frolic, through whatever wherever we're at, even whether it's New York or Hawaii. So I had to clarify that on TV because even when I've posted my sister, my fan base knows it's my sister. They know that. But we were actually highlighted on dating on the Instagram and social media page called Dating or Siblings or Dating. So a lot of people think we're dating. So I had to clarify that for the world. That is my 100% sister. We have the same parents.
So what is the gap between you two, the age gap?
A year and a few months. So very
Okay, so that's
Close.
not bad. So when you say you have the twin dynamic, right? It's a little further apart, but it's close
Less
enough.
than 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just are very in sync because we're raised so close. Like my mom, when we're little, if we fought, so we were raised by a single mom in a single parent household. My dad is still in the picture though. I absolutely love my dad, but we were just raised with our Hispanic mom. So if me and my sister ever fought when we were little, since we were little, my mom would tie us together, like
Mm.
tie us with rope together. So we had no choice but to be close, you know?
So, elaborate a little more on the childhood dynamic between the two of you. Growing up with your mom. What did your mom do? What was that household like for you guys?
Yeah, well, we moved around a lot, and that's another thing too, is like my sister was like another parent to me. So, my growing up, we grew up in Venezuela and Caracas, so Spanish was our first language. So I'm really proud of the Amazing Race for showcasing us speaking Spanish because that's us organically being us. From a show that, not to, go off topic, but from a show that does make its money, showcasing cultures all around the world. I'm very proud of them for showcasing us speaking Spanish, right? So thought that was really important for them to do. So our first language is Spanish. We grew up in Venezuela, in Caracas, then we moved to the States. We lived in Florida. We've lived in Boston. We've lived in New Jersey and New York. New York is the longest we lived in. But we always had each other and we always relied on each other. But growing up, my mom always made my like if I wanted to go to a party, because like my freshman year of high school, all the guys asked me to junior and senior prom. And
Mm.
you're young, you don't know anything. And so I asked my mom, "Oh, mom, I have like this like all these people want to take me to prom." And my mom's like, "Ask your sister." My sister was like, "Absolute hell to the no." So, if I wanted to go to a party, I would ask my mom, "Mom, can I go to this party?" She's like, "Ask your sister." So my sister would always say no until I got older. Junior year of high school, I was able to do more stuff. But my sister was like a parental figure to me. So as close as we were, I did have to listen to her authority.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I guess like she's towering over you, so
She's
you
also
had you
so
gotta
much
you
taller.
literally look up to her.
I look up to her in every aspect, because she could do everything. She grew up always doing, I actually almost drowned in the ocean once. Like, where the hell were the adults?
Yeah,
I almost drowned. I
the
got picked up by the
lifeguards.
tide, and that's the current is really strong. My sister actually saved my life. So I knew I was a goner. So my sister has taken care of me, saved my life. I've looked up to her in every aspect. And yes, she also is a lot bigger than me. Like, what happened here? Like, how did this height discrepancy
All
happen? Like,
right.
she took
Well,
all the
isn't
credit.
your father pretty tall though?
My dad's like, yeah, like a normal, good sized guy. So I'm like, what the hell over there? But my dad,
How about your mother? What's her height
she's taller
situation?
than me too. She might be like 5'2", five
A
four,
little tall than her.
but she's, yeah. I'm like, wow, I didn't even hit 5 foot. So, you know.
Now, we asked you this in person, but I want you to kind of expand on this. Talk to us about how, as kids, you couldn't even pronounce each other's names, so you call each other Sissy.
Yeah. So, okay, growing up, so our first language was Spanish. So my real name is Natalia. My sister's real name is Estefania. So, I mean, Estefania is like really, that's for when you're little, it's a hard
It's
name.
tough.
So Estefani, so I would just call her Tata. So since I was little, it would be Tata Tata. So that was her real name. Like that was the name I always gave her growing up. So there were a couple times that I did say Tata, and I think it hit the air one time, but no one even knows what that is. But no, like also growing up, when we moved to America, I started calling her Sissy instead of Steffi. So Sissy always hit. That's what we always call each other. So Sissy was just what we always call each other. And our other cousins also call their sisters sissies. So like
Makes
that's just in our
sense.
family is
Checks
sissy.
out.
It's sissy my sissy. That's just the way it is.
Fair enough. So let's talk about you attending Seton Hall,
Yeah.
studying public relations, communications, and stuff. What was that time like for you? Obviously, I'm assuming you and your sister, first gen college students, your sister went to NYU. So just talk to
Yeah.
us about that whole college time for you.
Well, college is really fun. I was choosing between Seton Hall and Syracuse. So my dad, before my dad, uh, some stuff happened personally for him. My dad actually was a professor at
Oh,
Syracuse.
wow.
My parents met in Syracuse, in New York, in Syracuse. My mom was teaching calculus. My mom was a metallurgic engineer. My dad was teaching chemistry. So they met at the gym, little hot nerds, both of them. And so I was going to choose between going to Seton Hall or Syracuse, but I was like, Syracuse is too cold. So I went to Seton Hall. My sister went to NYU Polytech, so it's one of the NYU schools and she played also college basketball. So she was always a basketball player. But she went to college in New York. I went to, which I wasn't too far. I was in South Orange, so I was able to take the train in all the time to New York. And from there, which was really cool that I went to Seton Hall because it was a smaller school. I have ADHD. So I was like, I couldn't go to a school like Syracuse or Rutgers because it's just such massive campuses. I like need to focus, but it was perfect because I was in like a friend's dorm, they were talking about cheering for the Jets. I had no idea really. I knew what football was, but being raised by, my mom who's Venezuelan, a Venezuelan mother, like weren't raised with TV. So I would only watch TV going to my cousins' houses or friends' houses. So we didn't know really about a lot of TV shows other than like what our family was watching. We didn't know about football. So I literally auditioned with my college roommate to be a Jets cheerleader just because I like to dance. So, I was really happy where I went, even though it was like boring and it's like a backpack school. I did not focus on my studies as much as I had should have. I focused on, shopping, working, more like working so I could pay for my own stuff and also cheering for the Jets because I became a Jets cheerleader my junior year of college. So it was really nice. And I would visit Sissy from here, here on out. Like I'd visit her here and there. And it was nice to be able to, I would mooch off Steph. Okay. I would be going to New York to go have fun and I'd crash at her apartment. So thanks to my sister for living in New York.
Well, I have to ask very quickly, was it your father who taught your mother chemistry, or was it the other way around?
Oh, that's a good question. I actually don't know that one because they're both nerds and really smart. I did not get their brains. I'm more of like the creative. But I don't know who taught who what. But yeah, but they're definitely both nerds.
Gotta find that out for us, and the next time you come
I'm
on,
going
share the
to.
answer. Tell us maybe a wild or just a wacky story when you were a Jets cheerleader.
Oh, when I was a Jets cheerleader, I was on the Jets when Mark Sanchez butt fumbled. So I was
Ah,
on the
what a
field.
night. What a Thanksgiving.
I was on the
Unforgettable.
turf for that. I've gotten to do such cool things with the Jets. Oh, I guess I'll tell you, like, other than like the awesome accolades and the awesome things, like I got to fly to Cayman Islands. I got to fly to
Wow.
Jamaica with the Jets for all the photo shoots. I was like on the front cover of some of the calendars. So I got to do really cool things. But I remember I don't know if you guys, the Amazing Race, the team cheerleaders, Krista and Tiffany. They were from a prior season of The Amazing Race, and they were my teammates. So I remember my first game ever. So you're aware we're dancing like on the field. You're wearing little high heel boots. So like you're not wearing sneakers or comfortable shoes. These boots hurt like
Hmm.
so bad. So I remember we did the pregame dance. You do the intro dance, the pregame dance, and that's already a number. And you're running all over the field from yard lines to yard lines.
Yeah.
Like you're running from one side to another. So like it's hectic. And then after the pregame dance, you create the player intro line, right? So when the players come in, the fire towers burst out with fire and flames, and then the players come out, and then all the cheerleaders make a tunnel for them to
Yep.
run through. So I remember the game hadn't even started, and Tiffany's right next to me, and I look at Tiff, who also was on The Amazing Race.
Yep.
I was like, Tiff, I was like, my feet hurt so bad. How much longer do we have? She goes, oh, honey, the game hasn't even started. And I will always remember that moment. Tiff was always a point a point person for me that I looked up to. She always helped me, guided me, helped me with dancing. She was just a go-to girl for all the girls. She's the biggest girls girl, and she was like a mentor for all the younger girls and for everybody. So she is really a girls girl. So it was just so funny because like to this day I have that image in my head. I will always remember how bad my feet were hurting and like how, like my feet were killing me when I tell you 10 out of 10 pain. And I had to fight through it and dance the entire game. And these games, so you're aware, and if they go in overtime, you're in overtime. We're dancing for over 4 hours. And people don't know this. Oh, hold on, my friend's working. Am I being really loud? Okay. Oh, it's my best friend's boyfriend. So let me actually. So basically, I'm doing a podcast. So basically, we actually rehearse the entire game before. So if it's a 1 p.m. game on a Sunday, we run the entire game at like 6:30 a.m. So
Oh,
we have to be at the
geez.
we had to be at the stadium at like 5:45 a.m. some days, 5:30. So we run the entire game plan. We do all the dances. So we really are dancing from 6:30 a.m. all the way till the game ends. And the game's about 4 hours, and sometimes they're in overtime. So you're dancing. I remember some of the girls would wear these little, not like Fitbits, but they'd wear something like on their heart, like you could strap it under you. Some of us would lose like 5 pounds in a game, 4
It's
pounds in a game.
crazy. Well, shout out to Tiffany. I'm a little surprised she hasn't been a Real Housewife of New Jersey because she's so in the loop with all them, right? So they're rebooting the show. She's close with Melissa and all them, so we'll keep an eye out for that.
Please,
She
because
should
she's
should be
so, she
should be
deserves the
good.
best. Tiff, it deserves the best. I love that girl. And Krista, I love them both.
Yeah, and then as far as being a Jets cheerleader, talk about a tough job, Joe, because the fans are miserable because the team sucks. It's cold,
Always,
it's
always.
rainy, you're out there on the field, the Jets could be down by 30, and you're saying, defense, attack, sack that quarterback, and the fans don't care. So talk to us about some of those challenges and how the coldest you've ever been on the field.
Oh my gosh, there's been flurries. I remember before I became a Jets cheerleader, the year or two before me, apparently they had like it was raining and
Mm,
hailing in a game and you got to keep dancing. But I will say a positive from that was so you learn all these tips and tricks when you're a Jets cheerleader because you are wearing like minimal clothing. And so like even our flight suits, I don't know if you guys know, our fall winter suits are like aviator suits, so it's a one piece. So you are wearing more clothes. It's thin, super thin like paper. So what we do is um we'd actually put hot patches, like those
yeah,
like the hot packs, hot tool. What is it? The hot tools, whatever it's
hand
called.
warmers, those
Hand
things. Yep.
warmers. There's like the sticky ones, and we'd actually put those on. We'd wear thermals and put those on top of the thermals. Then we'd wear those outfits. So I learned so many cool tips and tricks from being a Jets cheerleader from those cold games that I implemented that into my real life, into the Amazing Race.
Yeah,
So
because it
I
was
didn't.
cold some of those initial legs you're on.
So Sissy was really nervous. So I have something called Raynaud's, and
Oh, me
so
too, Natalie. This is a first for the podcast. Let's talk about
yes.
Raynaud's syndrome and how we can't feel our hands and feet when it's cold.
So like me and you are more susceptible of we would get
Gangrene.
frostbite
Yeah,
quicker than anybody else. And people don't understand that. Like, and I don't tell people this is the first time I'm saying this to the public because people don't know this. So like when I'm cold, Sissy was so scared about the Amazing Race because she's like, oh my God, if we're gonna climb a cold mountain,
yeah,
like what? So if I get cold and like once I get cold, it could be 50, 60 degrees. It doesn't matter. Like 60 degrees Fahrenheit isn't that cold, but for me it's really cold. So
absolutely.
once I'm cold, physically I can't move. So like I would have to get disqualified. Like I wouldn't be able to do anything because it's so excruciatingly painful. So like and Sissy was like, "Oh my God, what are we gonna do?" So my friend who has Raynaud's, who's always known she's had it, I called her before the show. I was like, "Hey, like I might have to be in extreme cold weather. What do I do? Like what do I do?" And then she's like, "Nat, like put the hot patches all over your body and bring a bunch of those." And then also that's what I was going to do anyways because of the being a Dutch cheerleader, we did that anyways. So I just got, my community of Raynaud's people to like give me their insights and then I implemented what I did on the Jets and then I was able to survive because there was nights we're sleeping outside, right? On the Amazing Race in the freezing cold because it was in Europe.
All right, those train station.
Yeah, in one episode, they put me, everybody, all the cast, we had to sleep outside because they kicked us out of a train station. Every cast member, I didn't tell them I had Raynaud's, but every cast member put their backpacks on me. So I was in an igloo of backpacks with my heat packs because honestly, like I was scared too. I was like, if I didn't have those hot packs, afuera, papi, go. If I didn't have the hot patches on me, I wouldn't have survived doing the Amazing Race even this season. And we didn't have to go into a snowy mountain because it's so cold. Go, Poppy. Poppy doesn't want to go for a walk. Go. Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's totally fine. That's a first.
Yeah.
Definitely a first for this show. Thanks for sharing it, considering you've never shared it before.
Yeah.
So, you talk about working for Madison Square Garden, right? So you worked there for a bunch of years. So what'd you do when you were over there?
So it was so crazy because when I was in college, I did afuera, papi. He's so spoiled. When I was in college, I went to school for communications, public relations, and journalism, and I took a lot of art classes just as like fun extracurricular because I love art. I'm not gonna lie, I hate studying. I have ADHD, so studying for me is just awful. But I did do a project on the director of community relations for the New York Knicks, the director, yeah, of community relations for the New York Knicks. So I did a project on him for one of my public relations classes. He then offered me an internship. And then from then on, I started working for them as a student associate, which is equivalent to an intern. And then from there, so I did a lot of community outreach. I did a lot of pregame activities, on-court activities, player activities. Like I did it all. I worked with the players one-on-one. The players all knew me, even Carmelo Anthony. Like obviously, if I see Carmelo Anthony today, I don't know if he'd remember me, but I would have to get help and
Yeah.
assist and like the players to sign the autographed basketballs and all the stuff. But the
So
players,
Natalie, what was it like standing next to Carl Anthony?
I mean, all the players are so big. And I remember I would have to be under the basket for pregame because I would do a lot of the pregame activations, especially like the ball kit experiences and all that.
Yeah,
And I remember like sometimes the players would accidentally tackle me or the ball would hit me in the head. I'll tell you, the players always picked me up. If
that's
they
great.
tackled me or fell onto me, they would always pick me up and like make sure I was okay and give me a hug. So that was all good. But working for the community relations department was amazing. So I got that job a month after I became a New York Jets cheerleader.
Mm.
So I was going to school full time. I was dancing bar mitzvahs and working full time. So I was always working because we were poor, so I had to work. I was a Jets cheerleader at the same time. So I worked 7 days a week throughout college and to get by. So it was a lot of work, clocking in, clocking out. And like bar mitzvahs would be on Saturdays. So I'd be working bar mitzvahs. I would do two bar mitzvahs every Saturday. So like starting my day at 6 a.m., right? To drive to the location. I do my first and my second. And sometimes the parents would ask you that so what I did was high-end bar mitzvahs. So I'm talking about rich ass people. I'm talking about millionaires to billionaire parties. Like these parties, they're spending at least $500,000 on this bar mitzvah, at least minimal. So like the parties I did were so high end. And so I wouldn't get home till 2, 3, 4 a.m., depending on the day. And then I'd have to, like, if the mitzvah ended at 12, sometimes you'd have to stay till 1 or 2 a.m. That means I'd have to drive home an hour to 2 hours. So some nights before game days, I would only get 1 hour of sleep,
Oh,
2 hours of sleep. So it was really exhausting. But yeah, I worked all these jobs while doing everything, but it kind of prepared me for success, And then because I was so active as doing my nonprofit work and doing everything that I did, when Big Brother reached out, they really liked my accolades. They liked my resume. Like they were impressed that I was a Jets cheerleader. They impressed that I was working for a nonprofit. Because then I started working for the Garden of Dreams Foundation, which is Madison Square Garden Company's nonprofit sector. So you brought the magic of the garden to children that were, terminally ill, children that were at home facing homelessness. So it was really beautiful the work that I got to do. So I wasn't just a pretty face, quote unquote, right? I was multifaceted.
Yeah, Natalie, we definitely respect the hustle. Shout out to the Garden of Dreams. I also was a student
Yes.
associate. I had to do some work with them as well.
You did.
I was in the production side of things. I was like, what the coolest thing I got to do was at a Rangers game. I got to sit with the broadcasters and go get them hot pretzels. So that was a dream come true.
Yes, for MSG Networks. So
Yep, that's what I was with.
I taught a class for some of our community-based students. So I taught a class with MSG Networks. So I did it
Very
all.
nice.
I've worked with every entity of Madison Square Garden, from the Rangers, the Liberty, the Knicks, MSG Networks. I brought all the
Our
Magic,
cats,
We love
all
it.
of it.
the Rockettes. Yeah, exactly, everything. So.
Awesome. So you mentioned it. Big Brother reaches out to you. Did you hear the show beforehand? Did you have to go watch it then? And what was it like competing on the show? Were you kind of like in a daze at first? And have you still processed being in the Big Brother house?
So, doing Big Brother, so I kind of knew of it, but I didn't really know it. But when my dad's sister would watch Survivor since we were little, so we would spend certain summers going to Massachusetts to stay with my dad's sister and her husband. She was a big, my auntie Titi, she's in heaven. God bless her soul. She's the best. So, I feel like she has guided a lot of my career moves. So she loved Big Brother. She loved it so much. Loved Survivor. So she would always watch it. So we would watch it when we were younger, like, like a little bit here and there with her. But we weren't like watching it at home because we weren't really, we didn't have cable TV. So I feel like I knew the gist of it. Like I didn't know the logistics of it or the gameplay of it. I didn't know like the intricacies of the game, but I did understand like, oh, it's a TV show, right? Oh, my aunt loved it, right? So when I got on Big Brother, I actually had so I was working full time for Garden of Dreams Foundation. And I was still doing bar mitzvahs on the side to like be able to pay rent, be able to pay for everything I had to pay for because I didn't grow up with money. So for me, I still had to work where I was working till like 2 days before I flew out. Like I quit right before I flew out. I didn't even give them a week's notice. Like I told HR that I was leaving, but I really had no idea when I was flying out because they don't tell you, oh, you're going to fly out for Big Brother on this day. They give you
Right.
like a guesstimate. But when I got on Big Brother, so I tried to watch as much Big Brother as I could, but it's like 3 episodes a week. So I was like, like I couldn't do that while working full time. I was like exhausted. And also I was commuting. I moved out of New York to New Jersey to live at my best friend's house because I was quitting my job. So I was like sleeping on my best friend, sharing a bed with my best friend, and like commuting 2 hours to work every morning and 2 hours home. So I really had no time plus working full time 6 to 7 days a week. So when I got on Big Brother, I found out like I was in the house. Everyone's like, "Oh, 2 days till live feeds turn on." I said, "What are live feeds?" They're like, "Oh, this show airs 24 hours a day." I was like, "What?" So like I understood a little bit of the gameplay, but not like you have to really watch the game religiously to know the twists and turns, to know,
Yeah, you have
oh,
to watch a full season to you understand.
but I didn't have that leisure,
Right.
that luxury that other people have, right? So I learned the game on the game. I was learning, and I'm a gamer. I'm a competitor, so I got really obsessed with it. I consider myself a gamer, right? My favorite part about doing reality TV is the competitiveness. I love to compete. So that to me is why I fell in love with it and then
Yeah.
continued doing more competition shows.
Do you still watch? Have you watched any Big Brother since being on the show, or is it hard to
I
watch?
I don't watch. I've never watched my season. The only show I've ever watched that I've been on is this season of The Amazing Race, and only because of my sister. Like it's something that I'm so proud of.
Of
It's the
course.
project that I've done in my life that I'm the most proud of because it's with my sister. I don't like to watch a lot of TV shows. I like to be on them. I like to be competing immersed in it. But yeah, I watch some stuff here and there, but I'm not a big watcher of the shows. I would say I like watching The Amazing Race more. I feel like that was really fun. I got to watch a lot of The Amazing Race now that I'm successful in my career and I have leisure time. I was able to watch as many seasons as possible, study it, really like I don't know if you saw on socials, like I really, and I didn't share everything that I did to prep for the show because you gotta, keep some stuff for yourself. But I shared a lot, so I really was able to dedicate a lot of time to like train for the show.
So before then, right, you went on the challenge.
Hmm.
So you went on the challenge. Talk to us about the experience of being on the challenge, right? I guess maybe how that experience prepared you for the most recent season that you competed here on The Amazing Race. Uh, the challenge is very different than some of the other programming, right? So talk to us about the differences there, and then talk to us about making friends with and shacking up with another friend of ours, Mr. Johnny Bananas.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, the challenge was it did help me. All the shows I've done have helped me. And I was the first female crossover from another network onto MTV's The Challenge. So I was the first person to do it. I'm the reason why, and ratings got so high.
Yeah, you cracked the
Uh,
door open for CBS.
so you're welcome to all you other people that are on it from Survivor, from The Amazing Race, so all these other shows. I broke my back doing that. Okay. But no, the challenge, I mean, Big Brother, you're competing inside of a house, right? It's a little bit more controlled, even though expect the unexpected, right? The challenge, you're actually leaving, like the competitions on Big Brother are in the backyard. Then the challenge, like you're going off site, right? You're taking a bus to these competitions. And you also it's like a different dynamic, different people. So, but you're also around in another country. So I got to go to Spain, I got to go to South Africa, and I got to go to Namibia doing the challenges. So you get that worldly aspect. So that really helped me, and that was more beneficial as well. But nothing will prepare you for the amazing race because you literally don't have a phone and you're like all these other shows, it's a little bit more controlled, right? On the challenge, you're getting bussed to the locations, the competitions. On Big Brother, you're walking into the backyard to compete. On The Amazing Race, not only like all these shows, all these three shows, you have to do the social aspect, right? You have to do the competitive aspect, stay in the game. You have to do everything, right? You have to prep for it. You have to have physicality. You have to have endurance. Your brain has to be on. You got to do it all. But on The Amazing Race, there's even an additional element, which is navigation. So I suck at navigation. Like I've lived in New York for most of my life now. I can't tell you what subway to take for what. I can't tell you shit. Like I'm going to use my Google Maps to get from point A to point B.
Yep.
That's just how I am. So like it's the Amazing Race is a different ball game, but yeah, I would say Big Brother and the challenge. The challenge was great because I got additional tips and tricks of how to prep, right? Because it's like a level up in like aggressiveness when it comes to physical competitions. So I did implement the way what I've learned from how to train for the challenge. Even Rachel Riley goes, Nat, you're training like you're going back on the challenge. So what I did was I trained my mental, including math, memory, flags, math. Like I suck at math, so I had to take math classes. I trained to drive a stick shift, right? Things that you don't have to train for all these other shows. But I did train my mental and I also trained my physical as I would train for the challenge to make sure I'm strong. But I did not train my endurance as much as I would train for the challenge because I'm getting older, so I was like, I'm not. I did run and trained a lot for running, but for the challenge, I would train by running like 7 miles at a time, 8 miles at a time. For the challenge, I would just run 1 to 2 miles at a time. So for the Amazing Race, I would only do 1 to 2 miles. But all these shows did prep me for the Amazing Race and to do well, and also help my sister and guide her in training. But my sister also was telling me how to train. My sister's like, because my sister is so into this stuff, like she's lives
She's an
health and
athlete,
wellness.
basketball player.
So she's like, you need to try this. You need to download this app. You need to do this. This is how you do this. So my sister was actually teaching me a lot and helped me in the training process, which was really nice that I didn't have to do everything alone. But also with Johnny Bananas, my rookie season with him, a lot of people are saying that I mooched off of him, but no, he actually scouted me. He was the one trying his hardest to work with me. And, because the house was kind of against him at that point. So he actually like was the one that befriended me, to clarify. So we were just like friends kind of thing, and like we had a little showmance going on, but a lot of people think that more than that happened, more than that did not happen. So it was very like platonic with a couple makeouts my rookie year, but that was it. It was very platonic. But wish him well. We're not friends, but he is a funny guy and I wish him the best.
Well, so based on what you were saying, right, it seems like it was very easy to convince Sissy Steph to do the Amazing Race with you. If not, maybe she was the one who really pushed you to do it. So talk about the moment when you found out that you were going to do the Amazing Race. And I imagine she was the first person that came to mind. And I imagine that if you were going to do the show, she was going to be the only person that you were going to do the show with.
Yeah, well, I told Steph, so Steph saw like how Big Brother, like the fan bases can be just really
Vicious,
gnarly and really like toxic and just
too
like
involved.
people tell you to kill yourself. Like it's just like a nasty world out there, right? Like people are mentally psychotic. So my sister saw just how nasty and vicious people were towards me after Big Brother, after the challenges. Thousands of people telling me to kill myself, and people could spread lies about you, defamatory things about you. People could say whatever the fuck they want about you. And, my sister saw that firsthand, right? And how much that affects someone's mental health and their well-being, right? Like anyone can say anything and run it as truth. So she saw a lot of the fan base. Yeah, I had so much love. I was almost, America's favorite. I was a fan favorite. But even being fan favorite, you're still gonna have haters. So my sister saw like how that affected me and it like dimmed my light and my shine. And so when I told her, I was like, hey, would you like to do the Amazing Race? She wasn't really well knowledge about the Amazing Race either. We knew of it. She just thought all reality TV was trash. And so she said, absolutely not when I first asked her to do it. She's like, hell to the no. She doesn't curse, but she was like, no, right? And I was like, Steph, like, just watch a few episodes. Like, it's so different. Watch it. She watched it. She's like, absolutely, we're doing this. So my sister actually then was the one that really wanted to do it. And then I had moments where I was like, do I really want to do it? Like, I make more money off the show. I have a successful career. Do I want to take a break? And like, me leaving for a month, that's me losing out on 20 to $30,000, right? Like, so I'm like, do I really want to miss out on making my money and doing what I love to do as an influencer and as a host? Um, and so I had to I was like, okay, well, I could win $1 million, so it could be worth it. And with my sister, I know that my sister's really great at all this. So we do have a chance to win. Unfortunately, we didn't win. But no, my sister was really excited after she watched it because it's so wholesome. I'm more of the spicy sister. My sister is more wholesome. My sister's not a vulgar person. She's not, she's very like classy and like
Mhm.
well spoken. I'm more a little bit ratchet, like I'm more of like, I'm gonna be the one dancing on tables, having a good fucking time, and I might curse here and there. No, I like Steph was like all about it and we're training for it and we're having so much fun doing so. I flew out to visit her twice to train with her. We did some escape the rooms together. So we were both really on board. So when Jesse called me, he's like, would you still be interested in doing the amazing? Oh, what is that? Oh, is that a treat? Oh, I thought the dogs were eating poop. It's a treat. So I thought that what is it called? I lost my train of thought.
So Jesse called you.
Oh yeah, Jesse called me and he was like, "Oh, would you like to still be interested in doing the Amazing Race with your mom or your sister?" So my mom didn't have her passport and she wasn't a citizen yet. So, but Jesse didn't know that at the time. I didn't say anything. I just kept my mouth shut. Sorry, Jesse, but Jesse interviewed. We had a group chat, a group Zoom. My mom, my sister, me, and Jesse. And Jesse decided my sister was the way to go. Everything happens the way it needs to happen. I think my aunt in heaven, my auntie Titi, kind of facilitated this. And because you feel that energy, right, from like your family that's in heaven. I feel like she facilitated this for us. But now my mom's a citizen. Now my mom has her green card. So I'm so not whatever it is. Sorry, her
Visa,
passport. Yeah, she has all her
passport.
stuff now. And I was nervous too because, with not to talk politically, but I was nervous. My mom has a thick accent. If ICE, when my mom didn't have all her stuff, if ICE stopped, like, so my mom had a paper in her car, and the paper would tell her if she got pulled over by ICE exactly what to say, right? So I was nervous during this whole situation, and while me and Steph were training, because I'm like waiting for my mom to get her citizenship. I drove my mom to get her test taken. And I talked to security. I was like, my mom can't get taken from me, right? I did not leave my mom's side through the whole process. And I was asking my mom, Moms, don't drive around a lot and like until we get this stuff done. And then what is it called? My mom got everything, so we're all good. Me and my sister were able to leave to go film at peace because I wouldn't have survived. I was nervous every day because if my mom were to get deported, Venezuela is a dictatorship and it's very dangerous, and we speak out against the government because it's a dictatorship. So we would be considered political terrorists. And Venezuela has the largest torture chamber in the world. So if you're against the government, people are starving to death in Venezuela, right? It's not a livable country. Basically, they torture you and kill you, and you go missing. And so my mom didn't have a passport at the time. So if my mom got deported, my stakes were high, right? Before leaving for the Amazing Race, like if my mom got deported to Venezuela, I there was a high, high, high chance I would never see my mom ever again. So I'm luckily that didn't happen. My mom's all good. But I mean, I'm so happy as well that I didn't do the Amazing Race with my mom because me and my mom would just be fighting the entire time, even though we're besties. Like it would just be like it's like oil and water. Where me and Steph, like we can move and groove and we can communicate and work together.
So I want to commend you and your sister because a lot of teams didn't do this, but perfect outfit coordination. I'm assuming you picked those out. And how much did your role as an Amazon Live host play into making sure you guys were looking exactly the same with the outfits?
Oh, girl. Okay, we're getting into girl talk now, Nicholas. So my sister, so even Amazon in Hawaii, it does take like 2 to 3 weeks sometimes to arrive, things to
Wow.
arrive. So I was in charge of the styling of ordering everything. So I did it all. I got her backpacks, I got her outfits. I shopped on Amazon for everything. I did shop at Lululemon for some stuff too, and Athleta and some other stores. So I was the one in charge of all that. But it's so funny because my sister's like a dude. So my sister like doesn't like care about that stuff. She was in Hawaii and like there's not a lot of stores there either for like shopping. So my sister sends me
The
a picture.
ABC store is the only store around there.
Yeah. And like Walmart. And Steph sends me a picture in a green shirt. So when I'm talking about the army green that Tucker and Eric, that
Eric Ware.
color. So she was in Eric's color. She goes, I love this shirt for the show. And I was like, our team is off white. Like, no, our cream. Like, no. Like, what are you talking? I was like, no. So we fought for an entire day. She goes, well, I like this color. I was like, that's not our team color, and we're not gonna match. So what I did was I went to Lululemon because a lot of my outfits were from Lululemon, Uniqlo, and Athleta. So my tops were all Lululemon. So I bought her a shirt that matches me in the Lululemon and the same material that she liked for the green shirt. So I made sure to buy the exact color so we coordinated perfectly. And it took a lot of convincing, but I was like, Steph, you're not going to ruin my aesthetic, okay? Like we got to go all in with our fashion. So I did. I ordered so much stuff. I returned what I didn't wear, and then I like coordinated the outfits because like I was gonna look cute. Like I
Yeah.
don't care what I'm doing, I'm gonna look cute doing so. But we had to on the show because it's off white, which is my favorite color to wear every day, anyways. Every night I would wash our clothes. So like in the beginning, Steph would wash her clothes in the shower, I'd wash mine. But then towards the end, like Steph is my brain, Steph is my mule. She like, Steph is like the brain of like the leader of the group. I'm the team management. She's like the CEO. So I made sure I started washing her clothes so that my team, so that my CEO could get some good sleep. So I was washing the clothes every night so that we could look good every time that we were filming.
Yeah, and I never watched Amazing Race before, and I was surprised that you all get to pick your own outfits. What was the process like to pick the team color? And just because she's joked about it before, what'd you think about Chelsea and Jack's red outfits that had no red at all?
Okay, Jack and Chelsea are so funny. They're like naturally just funny.
Hysterical.
They didn't even air all, like, they're just so funny. I'm like, they didn't even air all the funny stuff they say. Like, they're all day long. If you're around Chelsea or Jack, like when I hang out with Chelsea, everybody in the cast knows that we're just gonna have a giggle fest. Just me
Yep.
and Chelsea are just gonna shit talk everybody and laugh about it, okay? And like the best way possible. But yeah, like Jack didn't even wear, so like that's why, like Jack and Steph, they'd be two peas in a pod because Steph was trying to wear green. I'm like, bitch, what are you doing? We are off white. Like you, what? And so they give you the team. So for us, they gave us our team color, which what I think they did, this is not factual. This is me spreading rumors. What I think they did is they looked at my Instagram and they saw, oh, Natalie wears a lot of cream. So, this is the color we're going to give them. So I hope that that's the process because like I was so happy. You don't understand when I got that team color, I was like, yes, we're going to look rich, we're going to look luxurious. And my sister's like, no, we're going to get so dirty. I was like, I'll wash our stuff. Just simmer down. So Steph would have ended up like Jack. She would have been in all army green and all different colors if I wasn't the dictator of our group, right? Like if I wasn't team management, like the CEOs a lot of times don't know what the hell's going on, right? They just got to lead the team. Team management, I was the one that had to direct that
hmm
because if not, we would have had a Jack situation. Steph might have shown up in red for all I know.
They're just so funny too, though. They're just hysterical. There's the way that they're talking to each other is great, and obviously awesome to see a father and daughter duo there. But you aligned with some other people. You aligned with the Trainwreck Alliance, which
Yeah.
ultimately ended up being a train wreck, led to your downfall. I'm
Yeah.
curious, have Adam and Joseph apologized to you for skipping you online at the travel agency? And you said before your sister's very mild-mannered. But she was losing her cool with you and your relationship with Joseph and Adam. So where's everything stand now?
Yeah. So Steph didn't want to set form alliances. She said that from the beginning. But the alliance just formed organically, so it just happened. But I should have listened to my sister. She's like, we gotta play individually now. Like the alliance served its purpose. Like the alliance served its purpose. It's time for us to play individually. But I'm just such a loyal person. I learned now from this show a lot that I need to learn. I am done doing favors for people because it shoots me in the ass actually every time I do a favor for someone because I'm the kind of person that I'm such a giver that every time I give, it's not something that those people return back to me. And I've learned the hard way. And watching this episode this season with Steph, I was like, damn, like I gotta make some changes in my life, right? Like my energy is not to be given to everyone anymore. Like people, oh, you want me to help you? Okay, pay out. Give me some money or what are you gonna be doing for me now? Because I have been taken advantage of so much in my life. Being a woman, being Hispanic, we are taught to not just being a woman, but being a Hispanic woman, you're taught to cater to everyone else and never to cater to yourself. So I watched that back and I'm really disappointed in myself for not advocating for myself. And I'm just really disappointed in, just not being having audacity. So audacity, I'm gonna get it tattooed to my forehead now. Um, they apologize on the show, but of course I'm sad. Of course I'm upset. But Steph even told me, she's like, you can't be mad at them because they did what they had to do. We're competing for $1 million. They weren't rude about it. They did what they had to do. We didn't speak up. So I think me and Steph took that lesson, and now I've unlearned bad, toxic, Hispanic machismo and patriarchal behavior that's instilled in women and Hispanic women, right? So I've learned to undo that. And so I'm going to be a man moving forward. And I will never allow that to happen to me ever again.
Very good. We love to hear that. Let's talk about the scariest and the most difficult challenges that you and Steph had to do while you were on the show.
Oh, the Zizkov television tower. Oh, hell to the
That was
no.
scary.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So thank God Steph did it. I'll tell you that. So I've done a lot of heights on the challenge, but it's like heights where you're like heights, but you're doing something up in the air, right? Like you
Well,
have
like trivia or moving around.
moving around. I've done actually some scary heights on the challenge actually. But that's just not my cup of tea, you know. And yeah, if I was on the challenge, I would do it. If I had to do Ziskov television tower, I would do it. But I have a teammate, right? I can rely on my sister.
Yeah.
And so
So how did that work with those, the roadblocks over? Like you didn't know whoever picks it, I'll do it. That she had if you said I'll do it and you like I can't do it, then that was it. You were gonna go home, right?
yeah, so if I didn't do it, if I chose to do that one, and you don't really know what you're doing, right?
Right, you
But I
don't know.
looked up. I remember I looked at the clue, the is it the roadblock? I looked
Yeah.
up the roadblock clue and then I looked up and I was like, the Ziskov television tower, this is high. And I actually saw some contraptions built. And I remember
Yeah.
on the trains, this is where like the challenge comes into
Challenge
play.
helps.
Because when you're on the challenge, when you're pulling up on the bus, you want to look for anything like when they have those like construction things, like
To
whatever,
see, yeah, the cranes.
the cranes, when you look for cranes when you're on the challenge. If there's a crane, you know it's heights. And that's where the challenge helped out. So I was looking at, like I was like, okay, on the train, I asked for a random stranger for their phone to look up all the different things. So I remember looking at the Ziskov television tower and looking what it looked like, seeing what it looked like. When we got there, we read the clue, but you don't know what you're doing. You have no idea. You could be getting up there and doing anything that has nothing to do with heights. But when I looked up, I saw some cranes and I saw some contraptions that didn't look like it was part of the Ziskov television tower. So I told Steph, I was like, Steph, so I didn't even think of communicating this with Steph, but I looked up and you have to pick really quickly. You don't have a lot of time to deliberate. So I looked up and I was just like, Steph, I can't do this. And I don't remember if I said this could be heights, but we both kind of knew it could be heights, you know? And she's like, don't worry, I'll do it. So then she did it. Thank God she did it because I'm telling you,
Too scary. Scary to
I,
watch though. And I don't know, Tucker, he's amazing. He did like 2 seconds. No problem, I'm walking out of
No
the building.
problem.
But Natalie, you jumped out of an airplane.
I know.
That was insane.
I know. But and also you have to split up like in older seasons, uh the amount of roadblocks that each person does didn't matter. But they noticed like a lot of the guys, if it's like a guy, girl, husband, wife, the guy was doing all of
Doing
it.
all
The
of
girl
them.
wasn't doing as many. Because the Amazing Race is a lot of it is brute force. So unfortunately, and this isn't like there's a reason why, right, women don't compete against men in the Olympics, right? Because
Right.
men are faster, they're stronger. It's anatomy, it's science, it's facts. So the Amazing Race, unfortunately, the competitions are catered to men, right? Like there's no way that I could on a foot race beat a guy. Like there's no shot that I was gonna beat Joseph no I was never gonna beat Tucker and
Tucker and
Eric
Eric.
or Jag and Jazz in a foot race.
Right.
Never, that's never going to happen, right? Not even if I take steroids. Um, but what is it called? What was I even saying about this?
Jumping out of a
Oh,
plane, how
I
they
jumped out of
split up
the
that you had to do
so
it because they split up of who's doing what.
yeah, so this season it had to be even, 7 and 7. So I was like, oh my gosh. So I was like, I hate heights, but Steph, I need to use Steph as like memory, and I needed to use Steph. I needed to use Steph for memory. I was gonna do flags, I was gonna do geography, but I needed Steph to be part of. Hey, Sissy.
Speaking of,
Speaking of,
Sissy's on the phone. Look
there
at her.
she is. Tata.
Tata. Sissy, I'm on the podcast right now. Don't worry. I told them what's going on.
wow, look at you with all the attention over there.
Time like CBD melt and I've knocked out.
Listen,
I've been dreaming like nonstop for hours.
I'm happy for you. Don't worry. I've been holding down the fort. You
That's
have
all
no
right. We
worry about.
understand. It's perfectly okay.
But they are seeing your face on
Is that a
your-
picture from The Amazing Race?
yes.
Wait, what?
You're gonna find out when it airs.
Oh, she don't know.
She said, what do you? I did talk some crap about you. I said you were trying to wear green. I said, girl, we are off white. So I told him we had a whole day fight. debate on on our outfits.
Yeah, trying to come off hard.
She was trying to be on Eric and Tucker's team.
That
Yeah.
that would have been an unstoppable team, a trio.
No, I said if Steph and Eric were on a team together, they would have won. They would win.
Eric is a beast. Did you see when he lifted the fishnets by himself? And Joseph is a tank, and he needed help from Adam to lift the fishnets.
Yeah.
No, so I'm like close buddies with Eric now. Like him and I actually got to connect. We actually waited 4 hours on the airfield waiting for everyone to skydive.
Oh, geez.
So I got to talk to a lot of people, and then me and Eric finally started chatting for the first time, and then we started connecting. I was like, oh, this kid is cool. He like reminds me of like one of my closest cousins, and then from then on, it was just like buddies at first sight.
There we go. So,
And then he was telling me how like, and then like at the premiere, we got to hang out in LA at the big house, and he was telling me how he was a wrestler in high school.
makes sense.
So wrestlers are just a different breed. Like I think wrestlers just know how to use their body more efficiently.
Yep.
And our dad was a state champ wrestler, so I like understand that whole world.
There you
Yeah, and he's
go.
training for the Boston Marathon too. So
He ran the Boston Marathon. Insane.
Wait. I don't know if he told you, but like after each leg, when we would wait around for interviews, this was in Prague, like in that little town where we had to do the plowing and the hockey. In that big, beautiful library, he started running outside.
Training for the
leg.
marathon.
The Amazing Race was easy for them. I'll tell you that. It was.
Well, I mean, all you got to know about them is when they went in the wrong direction, they ended up at Phil by accident. They had to go back and redo the leg, and they still ended up in the same place.
And they bought they
bought ice cream.
Stop. They bought ice cream and trinkets, like
Yeah, magnets or whatever.
Me and Natalie were like, if that would have happened to me and Nat, we would have freaked out. But they're like, oh yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
And I think even Eric was working out in the hotel room after the competition.
He's a monster.
Meanwhile, me and Steph are like broken in our hotel room.
Break is laying down, relaxing.
My toes are cramped. My back is broken.
Yeah, I think what were they called? The Green Monsters?
Yeah, the Green Monsters.
Yeah, like Fenway Park.
But yeah, I was gonna say it's a note to
So obviously you guys we just talked about it with Natalie stuff, but yeah, you guys, the train wreck alliance became a train wreck. That was the unfortunate end there. You girls are just too nice, but Natalie learned her lesson for that, so better than ever next time. But I'm curious, your opinion on how that played out, Stephanie.
Yeah, so before the race even started, I told Nat because Nat had some negative experiences on previous shows. And I said, Nat, it's just you and me now. We don't have to depend on anyone. I'm a very independent person. Like I don't really like playing like team stuff anymore. I used to play basketball, well that's gone. I played basketball in college. I was like, Nat, we're doing this solo. Let's just kind of like mind our own business and keep it moving. Let's do the challenge, keep it moving. And so then the next thing you know, the Germany thing, we all get lost on the train. And then we coincidentally just kind of meet Joseph and Adam and Jag and Jazz at the train station when me and Natalie are trying to get tickets. So Natalie and I were trying to get tickets first. And then all of a sudden the boys show up and they're like, oh, like, how do we get these tickets? And so then we're like, screw it. Like, we're all kind of lost. Let's all help each other. And that's how it happened. And then towards like the middle of the alliance, I was like, all right, I'm ready to kind of work solo now. And that was like, no, like, sometimes you just got to like team up and stuff. I was like, all right.
I should have listened to Steph's intuition on that. I messed up on that.
And then it was when we had to run around the little town in Croatia, and there was that map that we had to find the clues and recite them.
Yep.
That was the breaking point for me because I thought we were alone, and then Joseph shows up. he's like, and then, I was kind of trying to like work alone at this point.
Yeah. And you were like, get in the car, Natalie, let's go.
But it was even before that, and I didn't really express myself, but it was before that, and Joseph shows up. He's like, do you just want to work together? And I was like, fuck, like,
Not really.
I love you, bro, in my head, but I was like, I want to do this alone. And there's a point where they didn't show, and I was trying to recite one of the clues, and he was saying it out loud, and I like covered my ear because I was like trying to memorize it. And he's like, do you just want to like work together? And I was like, oh man, like it's getting tight. So anyways, it ended up working out, but then the whole like let's wait for them kind of things.
I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot.
And then if you look further in like yesterday's episode and all that, like they also like beat us in the taxi race. So like what they didn't show is that the next morning after that leg, we had to race to the airplane ticket counter.
Right. Yep.
That was a 2-hour race by taxi, and for some reason they were forcing our taxi to follow the speed limit, and Adam and Joseph's taxi got to speed way over the speed limit,
and ours didn't. We weren't allowed to.
Ours didn't, and we left before them.
We left with a lot of time before them, so we would have gotten there before them.
Yeah.
So we got screwed.
For some reason, they were enforcing our taxi speed laws, and they weren't enforcing like almost like everyone else got this.
Everyone else after us. I asked them. So my journalism major paid out for this one. So I asked Joseph and Adam, Jack and Chelsea, and Izzy and Paige how fast their cars were going. They were like it was like a 2-3 hour trip. They're like the entire 2-3 hours we were driving at 120 or 140 kilometers per hour. And then I was checking hours. They're enforcing us to drive 80 kilometers per hour. So we weren't able to speed at all. So no matter what, we were going to lose. There was nothing.
Well, I think you might have been better off with Natalie taking the chance, driving shift again. Stephanie, what was that like for you to watch Natalie drive shift? Obviously, you had plenty of leg room because Natalie's pushed up to the windshield almost. And how was that trying to navigate as being the navigator rather than the driver? Because there was a point where Natalie's like, "Oh, come help me do the shift here or put the car on." So I'm curious that was your guys' strategy as far as while Natalie was going to drive and you were going to be the navigator.
So initially that was the strategy, Natalie driving, me being the navigator. I think like I know stick, but this stick I didn't realize that you had to push it into reverse.
Yeah.
And
it was different. It was different start.
You either go all the way left or all the way right, but I guess this newer car, you just push it down to reverse, and that's something that we kind of overlooked, and we just couldn't figure it out. And so I just went in someone's house, and they were painting their kitchen.
I didn't know that. Steph, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was like little, and then I heard people. I was like, "Screw this!" So I go, "Excuse me," and they're all like painting their kitchen, and then he just comes out. And what they don't show is I, like Dragon Jazz, tried to push the car back
by yourself
back onto the street.
That car almost went through a fence.
Oh man, I was like, "Holy shit!" Like that was imagine that, like first time a car just totally goes into the ditch or something.
That'd have been crazy. My favorite memory though of the two of you in the car is your last episode, and Natalie was like, "You know what? I'm going to show off all my wardrobe here." She's like, "I'm hot. I got to change. She's trying to take off all her layers." And you're like, "Drive the car. Let's go. Drive the car."
Fashion first. Okay, Nicholas.
Right.
Fashion first.
Oh man, but it was so the strategy, like we're going to backtrack to Netherlands real quick because Natalie again was supposed to be the driver, and it was literally the first leg when Phil first says go, and we run off into these cars, and
they're normal cars, by the way, not stick shift, normal.
Jack gets in the car, and so what you guys don't see is that the camera guy's in the passenger front seat and the sound guy's right behind him, and Natalie is braking so hard because the brakes on these new electric cars were so sensitive that the camera guy's head kept slamming into the windows.
I was like, oh my gosh. And I couldn't
It was like the
stop. I
comment
couldn't
was
stop. He was like,
perfect.
Pam, Pam.
And he goes, Natalie, you gotta stop this. And I was like, Nat, get the hell out of the driver's
And I
seat.
was like, no, I'm gonna drive because I can't read a map or a compass. So I was like, I can't do navigation.
Like one point I was like navigating and driving, and
Steph,
yeah, it was
Steph
pretty
was
pretty
driving,
wild.
navigating, and teaching me how to use a compass all at the same time while she was driving.
You
So
see what
wait, no, for Natalie here, quick. What was the most difficult? Was it Big Brother, The Challenge, or The Amazing Race with your sister?
Um, the most difficult show and like what aspect? Like
Most mentally tough.
mentally tough? Oh, the more mentally tough would be like the challenge or Big Brother. The Amazing Race is not as mentally tough because you have someone you're so close with, and it's honestly really fun. So as stressful as it is, like don't get me wrong, I was so stressed. I had my sister to bounce off on. I had my sister to lean on, and she had me to, even though I was the one leaning on her 99% of the time. Like I had her to lean on. So the hardest show I would say to do would be like the challenge or like a Big Brother, depending on, someone's skill set. But Amazing Race is very difficult. It's more difficult, obviously, with navigation, but it's more fun to do.
And what would you say would be the show you'd be most likely to do again if given the chance? Because I know you've turned down the challenge a few times.
I would actually do the challenge again if it was a Bloodlines,
Okay.
and Steph would do it. But we would all have to campaign and convince Steph to do it because we would have to convince her to do it with me.
What do you think, Stephanie? Would you do it?
I'm not sold yet. I think I would do Amazing Race just because of like I said, I'm very
Less
independent.
social media
Like,
drama with the Amazing Race.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't like scheming and lying, and I would just be
But you
stuck
don't
in a
need to
house.
scheme and lie, Steph. You don't need to. You just be you.
Yeah,
Physically dominate.
yeah.
Like no one's
I
gonna
guess
mess with you because you're huge. No one's gonna mess with you.
I would honestly, I would do the Amazing Race again just because like it's wholesome. You're with a family member and like
Hmm.
traveling the world, and then once you do a competition or a clue, like you just keep it moving. You don't wait for anyone, like, and then you go back to the hotels and you're all separated. It's like it's that's kind of more my vibe. You know what I mean?
Makes sense. And Natalie, of your Amazing Race castmates, who do you think would be great on the challenge?
Oh, that's a good question.
Definitely the boys, the green
Uh,
team.
Eric and Tucker.
See that's not. I'm actually surprised Tucker wasn't on the challenge this season. I guess because they want him for Amazing Race, but
Tucker would kill the challenge.
I think I'm an outsider here, but from people I've spoken to who've been on the show, like they're trying not to cast people who are like so naturally going to physically dominate that they're like steering away from them. They just want to. They're doing a lot of typecasting, it seems like these days. But Tucker would absolutely cause
Whoa.
a lot of
Oh,
entertainment.
Eric,
He
I
was
mean,
great on
Eric
the Big Brother.
like too.
Yeah, Eric and Tucker.
I haven't watched the show in years. Do they still do like the chopping block where you have to fight someone in the sand?
Yeah,
Yes, that's how
they
you
just,
elimination. Yeah, but
Oh, Eric would destroy. No one get past him.
yeah, so when we did the Amazing Race watch party with Natalie and some others in Brooklyn, we did ask. I was asking Eric in his interview and Tucker. I said, Eric, do you think the challenge is afraid of putting Tucker on? And he said they're afraid of me. I would dominate that show, get me on the show. So uh, we'll see what happens.
My boy.
Maybe Eric and Stephanie could be partners on the challenge.
if Eric and Stephanie are partners on the challenge,
Oh, that would be sick.
that would be a show I would watch. I would actually just want to be on there. I'll get
All right.
eliminated throughout. I don't care. I just want to watch them dominate everybody.
Yeah, I mean, Natalie, you've been on the show, obviously, but just like from a size perspective, it would seem like Stephanie would do really well against the other girls on the challenge.
Oh yeah, she would do really well. She would. And like
It,
no
I
one,
mean, it,
people would be scared to put her into elimination. So
They
like
don't want to
going
face
for
her.
11, so people are like throw Natalie into elimination. Who cares? They're not intimidated. But they will think twice before throwing her into elimination.
yeah, all I know is I would be taking some jujitsu classes for a few months before going on.
Yeah.
Now, I did want to ask you, Natalie, real quick about your Amazon Live
Yeah.
career. How did that come to be? How much do you enjoy that? And Stephanie, since you're kind of in a whole nother realm, you're living it up in the greatest place in the world, in Hawaii. How have you admired your sister's career from afar?
Well, it's been from afar and it's been up close. When I lived in New York, and that was just kind of, still sowing her seeds in that area. I'd helped out with some media stuff, and I was always kind of pretty much involved in that and rooting her on and supporting her. And then once I moved to Hawaii, her career just kind of blew up in the whole Amazon world, and it's just been so awesome to see all of those years of hard work come to fruition, as well as, not a lot of people from reality shows kind of learn to use their likeness to kind of excel
Right.
in that field. So yeah, super proud of her. And even some like juicy tea, like in when she was on Big Brother, and she started learning how to use her career from the beginning, people that were like mean to her and people that were picking on her on the show actually like would reach out to her and ask her for business advice. So like
There you go.
that's been Nat's used what she could, and she's grown successfully well. And she's really excelled well in her personal life and career.
Thank
Natalie, do you
you.
got a good discount on Amazon?
No.
No, free Amazon Prime at least?
No, I pay for it, but
Oh,
let me tell you,
geez.
it's been the best job I've ever had. Obviously, I'm a content creator, so I make my money being an influencer as well. And I get to do such cool things, but Amazon Live is just such a great place to work. Like everybody at Amazon Live is so incredible. Like I love everyone I work with. It's like a family, and it's crazy to say that, right? But I definitely found my tribe, and this has been my favorite chapter of my life. And I've been with Amazon now for about 3 years. It's been the biggest blessing, and it's the most, I love what I do. Yes, you have to study a lot. Yes, you have to be disciplined and dedicated. But I just flew out to Nashville. I just got back. I get to do new things all the time with Amazon Live and showcase products and services that I absolutely love. And like one day, I'm like in a camping tent showcasing camping gear. The next day, I'm on a cruise. The next day, I'm with Papi doing doggy and cat segment. The next day, I'm on a Virgin Voyages cruise going to the Dominican Republic. So it's like so much fun to work with them, and it's a blessing. And I'm very, very grateful for it. And everybody that I work with is the best.
Excellent stuff. Stephanie, I know you're in Hawaii, so you're up early right now. You're in Kauai? Is that where you are?
Yeah, I'm in Kauai. It's 9:45 a.m. right
All
now.
right. So in Kauai, it's always the year of the chicken because you constantly hear them going.
Oh,
I went there. That was one of the spots I went on my honeymoon. Awesome out there. So
Oh
if anybody
yeah.
hasn't been to Hawaii, I mean, I don't know what they're waiting for, but how is living in Hawaii?
It's honestly, it's a beautiful reset. From New York, and so it's completely the polar opposite. New York, it's like you hustle and bustle. There's no time to slow down. If you're not working, you're out socializing, and there's so much to do. And then, especially in Kauai, Oahu, not so much. Oahu's a bigger island. There's much more to do. But Kauai, like, think of it as like a little town in, you
Yeah.
know, Minnesota or something like that. It's very little town vibes. There's a lot of farmland, and resources are a little limited out here. But what's not limited is the abundance in nature and hikes and all that. So it kind of teaches you to kind of slow down in a little bit. It resets your nervous system, and it allows you to be a little bit more introspective towards life. Some people really take the opportunity to slow down when living on an island like this, but me, not so much. I've still kind of have my New York grit and hustle. It's just a different lifestyle. Like, for example, I live like on a 5-acre banana farm, and there's lots of fruit and veggies around me, and so it's like you kind of learn different things out here. but still, I'm pretty blessed, and it's, if you want it's cool if you wanted to, for example, before work or after work, you wake up early, you can go surf, you can go windsurf, you can go on a beautiful hike, world class hike, and that's what's available to me is an abundance in nature.
Yeah, I spent December 2019 in Hawaii. There's nothing like a Hawaiian Christmas season, that's for sure. It's absolutely the best,
Wow.
and you're dominating the hospitality game out there in Hawaii. So kudos to you on that. Last thing here, and I'll let you both go. I appreciate your time because I know you don't do too many podcasts, so we appreciate this. Natalie, in your life or your career, what has been or with reality TV, your I'm right moment. What I mean by that, a time or place where you wanted to pursue something, you asked somebody for advice. They said, Natalie, sounds like a bad idea. Don't do it. You're going to fail. And you said, you know what? I'm going to do it anyway. And in the end, you will see why it is that I'm right about this. And I can tell you, I told you so.
So, when I was, uh, I've had actually a few of those moments. When I
And
was,
let's talk about like the defining one that put you in a different trajectory.
I would be the Big Brother one, right?
Yeah.
So I remember I got the call to be on Big Brother. I had to choose between The Bachelor and Big Brother.
Oh,
My best friend, Tiffany and Krista signed me up for Big Brother, and then my best friend, Alyssa, signed me up for The Bachelor behind my back. She just applied. Both shows were interested in me, both casting directors were as interested in me. So I had a week to like really make up my mind, like what show am I going to go on? So then I was like, well, on Big Brother, you can win money. So I was like, this would help me in my future. And I remember I was telling a lot of my coworkers, I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to quit my job at Madison Square Garden. I'm quitting. I'm leaving. And I remember somebody told me at Madison Square Garden that I have the skill set to be a manager and a director, but there was not going to be any room for growth for me. So like I remember somebody that I'm close with, my old director for in the community relations department told me, he's like, you need to get out of here because you're doing manager and director's work and you're always going to be stuck as a coordinator, right? Like you're there,
yeah.
there's no room for growth here for you. So I remember he said that, and then I was like, you know what, you are right. And then I was telling other coworkers I'm leaving. I'm dipping out of this job. Like I'm gonna leave. I loved what I did. I loved what I did for these families, for these children. I gave experiences, once in a lifetime experiences to people, to families, right? And it was like their last memory of them with their child, before the child's passing, because a lot of these kids were terminally ill. So I was giving like the most important day. Like I loved what I did. I was giving people the most important day and memorable day of their life, right? And so I loved what I did, but I was like, you know what? Like I can't afford to pay my bills anymore, right? Like I'm not making enough money to live in New York, to pay rent, to do any of this. So I remember I was telling my coworkers I'm leaving, and they're like, no, you're not. Everyone's like, you're not gonna leave, you're not gonna leave. And then it was actually me that I remember like when I went to HR, I was like, I'm leaving. I told them I was gonna go. Um, thank you for my job here, the experience. My voice in my head was like, my gut was like, I need to go. Like my gut was telling me to go, but my voice in my head was like, no,
Hmm.
don't do this. You're gonna screw up your life. You're not gonna have a stable paycheck. You're not gonna be able to live. Like, so my own voice was telling me that. And I was just like, in my head was like telling me, don't quit your job, don't quit this job, like you're making a mistake. But my gut was like, my body was forcing me into it, right? And then I called my mom. I was like, Mom, I was like, I'm not quitting my job. Like I'm going back because the HR was like, your position will always be here. So if you want to come back, you can come back. And so I remember calling my mom. I was like, I quit my job. I was like, and it was like a couple days before I flew out to Big Brother. I was like, Mom, I made a mistake. Like I made a mistake. I'm going back to my job. I'm not doing Big Brother. And she goes, if you don't, she goes, I didn't take risks in life and look where it led me. She goes, you're taking this risk and you're doing the show. She's like, you're staying the course. You're taking risks. That's the way you get ahead. And I remember I was like, okay, I did it, and it was the best decision. Obviously, there were some tough ups and downs after Big Brother through my life, but I would do it all over again if it led me to where I am right now. Absolutely.
Well, it all paid off. It's a great
Mhm.
you know I'm right moment. Appreciate you sharing all that with us. And my co-host Joe, he had to leave for a work obligation, but I'm thinking maybe taking some advice out of your friend's book. And maybe I'll sign him up for the Bachelorette behind his back
Do
because
it.
Do
I
it.
think I
Do
think
it.
he'd be phenomenal TV. He would definitely not win. He'd think he's gonna win. He's gonna think he's loved, and they're gonna give him the villain edit of like this guy thinks who he is. He'd be fantastic. But he
Sign
has some
him
moxie and
up.
chops. So let me go
Sign
for it.
him up.
And then we can laugh about it over drinks. It'll be hilarious.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, girls, this has been phenomenal. Last thing we always do here is we always give our guests the last words. So if there's anything either of you would like to promote, share, or drop your social medias out there, go ahead. The floor is all yours, both of you.
Sissy?
Yeah, I think obviously it's a TV show and it's meant to entertain, but I think I like you could always take some life lessons away from what you see and other people's experiences. And I think the theme is what Natalie ended on was that, if you don't take risks and you don't follow your intuition and your heart, then, you're going to stay stagnant and to, constantly step outside of your shell and, get after it.
That's how you level up.
Not today.
Taking those calculated risks, like taking risks, but seeing like the pros and cons, right? And having a plan A, B, C, and D. Like I knew after taking that risk, I was like, oh, I can continue bar mitzvah dancing on weekends, and like that, I can make anywhere from $500 to $1,000 on a Saturday. So I knew that for like if things didn't
Right.
work out, I could jump back on that and then find another corporate job in the meantime. So I had a strategy in place as
Right.
well. So those
What would it take financially to get the two of you to show up to a bar mitzvah now to do that dance you learned on The Amazing Race?
Hey, I would put my dancing hat out, get jiggy with it. So
Yeah, you did so. I was so proud of you. Steph didn't mess up first. I messed up first.
I
So
hear the dancer
now I'm
background.
the
Yeah.
dancer, but I did learn the dance so fast, and it was such an easy dance once I learned it. Um, I just, I don't know, the nerves, you're competing, and like I'm used to competing in front of 80,000 people, and like I've never messed up, right? And competing in front of in front of two people, I messed up. I'm like, what? How does this make sense?
Yeah. And Stephanie, how did Natalie's charm and flirtation help you guys with some directions on The Amazing Race from the males?
I think it worked. Honestly, I was so hyper focused that I don't really remember, but I think it worked because a lot of the times it's like, a lot of the men were just easy and willing and able to like give us directions. And
Yeah.
so I think
Great.
I think it did work. I was just so locked in I didn't even notice.
And also Steph's like very like if she vibes with people and she could talk to anybody. But like a lot of the guys, like when I'd go and run and I'd be like, hey, like we had a system in place. So I would get the people for with the phones. Steph would also like team effort, but usually I was the one that was like getting people's phones from them, being super sweet, like, as sweet
Yeah.
as possible, sweet as pie. And then Steph was the one that did the navigation. So then I'd connect Steph to the person. I was like, and then Steph's like focus, it's just her brain was just focused on getting those directions, grabbing like I would grab the phone, give it to Steph, and Steph was just so focused on getting the directions that she wasn't even paying attention. But she would also engage with the people too. But
Mhm.
she had a job to do. Like my
Yep.
job was to get
Yeah.
cell phones, to get those directions. Steph's job was to write down the
Yep.
directions.
The CEO and the manager. It will
Yeah,
work.
I said you were the CEO, Steph, and I was the manager.
You were literally the not had the not had the koala, the fanny pack.
Yeah.
Perfect.
She goes, Steph, you are not touching this because like I do have a history of losing things.
Yes.
And um and
I
I was like, you are not touching this.
I said
And
you
so
are
then
not. So I was in charge of the pens, the notepads, the passports, RIDs. Like I was in charge
writing
of
things down.
writing things that like I
The force that kept us afloat, or else I would have left,
Steph can't Steph
the passport's probably in Netherlands or something.
yeah, Steph's job, and I was in charge of the money, right? So Steph's job was to get us from point A to point B. That was her job. I was team management. I was the office manager, and I had to do what I had to do.
Pinching pennies. She wouldn't even let me get a
Steph
snack at the
actually,
airport.
I was financially abusing Steph. So
No
Steph would
snacks.
Steph was like, can I buy this? Steph had to ask me. The CEO had to ask the manager if she could, can I buy this water? Can I buy this? I said, no,
Well, there
no.
you go. It's come full circle. You're asking her if you can go to your junior prom.
Yeah.
She's saying no, and she wanted a glass of water, and you were like, absolutely not. Payback.
Poor Steph. She just wanted a sandwich. She wanted a gyro one night. I was like, no, no gyros for
You
you.
never know when you're gonna need that money. So,
Eat a banana and swallow some air. We need the money.
well, girls, this has been fantastic. We thank you for your time, and that's gonna do it here for this episode of Know I'm Right. For the sissies, Natalie and Stephanie, my co-host Joe, I'm Nick. Thank you for watching, and this has been You Know I'm Right.